What's good, YouTube? It's your boy TSO Sage, and I'm back with another video. Now, I'm all for player positivity. I'm all for looking out for the guy that's not really seen a lot on television and really talking about these underrated players more and more, because that way it showcases how truly special our league is. But at the same time, I can be a little toxic sometimes, just like how you guys can be toxic as well. But most importantly, in regards to this video, is the fact that praising these players who are seen as underrated, or better yet, underappreciated, can have an insanely toxic impact if done the incorrect way. And it's sad to say that that's happened this season with a player who I personally enjoy watching a lot. So I really hope this video doesn't turn into a Sage is a hater of this player, but I do have to call it like I see it. This player's name has definitely become one of the more toxic names in the NBA community, and it has nothing to do with him. Truthfully, it's not even just his fans, and I'm praying to the highest God out there that his bros don't see it, because unfortunately this player is Nikola Jokic.
Middle trying to drive in. There's Jokic, that man again. Jokic with the block shot, his second tonight. Oh! 13 left in the half. That's a deep one. Oh!
I don't know. His down here is going to be, what can he do there?
Jokic, 5 on the shot clock. They double team him late. Cross court. Gordon for the lead.
Jokic has it. They double. Wide open is Rivers for 3. Yes! Clock's at 2. Sombor shuffle for Jokic. Yes! Now Jokic trying to get the third foul on Howard. He's got him. The ball popping. Oh. No look. Gordon throws it down. Jokic. Muscala. Dump it to Green. Oh, that's like taking candy from a baby. Almost. Jokic out behind the back. Joker. Alley-oop to Ball.
Coming off the bench here recently. Martin, two-man game with Jokic, who leaves it. Green! Are you kidding?
Games turn around is when you're just giving the ball away at one end.
Oh, Jokic! And it goes! Count it! Jokic was up high.
You know me, let's start with the elephant in the room, xenophobia. Defined by quite literally the first definition I saw when I Googled it, xenophobia is defined as the dislike of or prejudice against people from other countries, which is pretty concrete of a definition itself, but to make it even easier to understand, because he ain't from around here, you don't like his kind. Now, the reason why I bring that word up is because unfortunately it does have a spot in the NBA, or at least it seems that way. With the popularity of basketball growing, players that aren't from America, fun fact, play basketball, and a lot of them play it really well. I'm not gonna pretend like I just sit here and watch the EuroLeague. I don't even watch college American basketball. I only watch the NBA. But when a star player like Luka Doncic just comes out and says, hey, it's easier to score here than it was in the EuroLeague, is that him implying that the EuroLeague is better? No, but it does mean quality basketball is being played over there, whether it's schematically, the rules that they play by, or even player mentality. But there's quality basketball being played over there. Hell, to be honest, even if you somehow can't buy that, if you name your top 10 players right now, yeah, it's a good chance that 4 of them aren't even from America. But with all of that being said, it really doesn't feel that way, because instead, whenever you log on to SportsCenter, YouTube, First Take, or whatever forms of media, which by the way we're gonna talk about a lot in this video, you often see something about the Lakers, a segment on a team that's either spiraling out of control or is on some crazy win streak and turning their season around. But get this, if you don't get none of those, you'll get an MVP conversation that features most of the players I've talked about so far. However, the word features is definitely the best word I could have used, because oftentimes it's about adding another player to the conversation.
When you talk about what these teams would be without Giannis, Embiid, Jokic, okay? Jokic is a different animal. Don't miss games. He is what he is. We get all of that. But does that mean that we get to ignore what Phoenix is? They're the best team in basketball. They've got 60 wins. They're 14 games better than anybody in the Eastern Conference. And Devin Booker has been a model of consistency. Everyone knew they had arrived, and still he showed up this year and been busting everybody's a living butt.
Which is kind of unfortunate, and that's why people believe there's xenophobia in the NBA, because the front runners of the MVP race feel like the background characters. Luka was actually thrown into the conversation recently, and then his hype just died down for no reason, despite the fact that he's still playing some of the best basketball in the league right now. With Giannis, everyone accepts who he is, that being one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world, but it doesn't feel anything close to that. Granted, I've used this language before, but in a much higher hype sense, but it just feels like the world just shrugs its shoulders and says, Giannis is Giannis. The best way I can describe it briefly is, remember remember when Kawhi won in 2019? The takes were flying from next gen Jordan and more clutch than Kobe, all the way to simply just being the best player in the world at the time. With Giannis, yeah, we had a couple of days where we were slicing him, but nowadays it's just like, yeah, Giannis is Giannis, we know what he's about. But that Kawhi hype is there to this day if he weren't hurt. Speaking of hype, Joel Embiid has definitely been the most praised of the four, but his praise weren't all that until James Harden went there. Like, we knew he was in the race, but then James Harden goes there, and now we all know he's in the race. Which I understand James Harden brings star power to the Sixers, therefore people talk about the Sixers more, but that's still kind of mad interesting, bro. I'm not gonna cap. But then the man this video is about, with Nikola Jokic, they ain't nothing said. Nikola Jokic, let's do undisputed. Markieff Morris, 10-month ago video. I guess that's a subject. Oh, Shannon hyped him up 10 months ago again. Draymond Green and Tom Brady. All right, so we're done here. Ryan Windhorst, all right, so that's the B team. Yo, ooh, and apparently I watched it. Okay, Steven. Celtics and the Heat. The good old beef again. So 2 weeks ago, first take was on Jokic. Okay, not that bad, not that bad. Jokic leads in vote 9 months ago, my fault. Tie for top contender. Nick Wright probably dunked on him, but 3 weeks ago, fair enough. MVP title, cool. Will Smith is more relevant, by the way. I'm gonna keep searching, I guess, offline. If I find something, I'll put it in the video, but the fact I see 3 to 4 videos on Jokic, and it's just about him winning MVP, not even necessarily hyping him up as a player, I don't know. And even if arguing that winning MVP is hype for a player, that's cool, I guess, but y'all know what this shit would look like if it was a different player, bruh. Reacting to a 52-point game. Ja's better than somebody. He ain't next, he's now. Ja could be the next AI. Yeah, this is the difference. I mean, you see his face on the screen, people mention him in the side tangents, but when it comes to talking about his case for winning MVP, when he has a really strong case of doing so, nothing said. Rather than the guy who arguably could win the award, you hear more about who's in consideration to win the award. And let's say the topic is strictly who wins the award. Either A, nobody mentions Jokic's name, or B, they mention him, hell, they might even say he wins the award. But rather than explaining why he wins or doesn't win, they just talk about why the other players win or don't win. It's like Luka, Giannis, and Embiid are background characters, and Jokic is their shadow. It's crazy. And I understand why people will see these things and call it xenophobia. I'd understand if it's happened like once or twice, but if it's a consistent thing, if they walk like a duck, talk like a duck, quack like a duck, swim like a duck, I'm not gonna then say it's a cow. Bro ain't mooed once. It might be xenophobia in the NBA, 100%. Hell, there's times I'm on Twitter hearing a space or watching a video and I'm like, man, the NBA love them some Xena, holy shit. But unfortunately, a lot of people are overdoing it. And it pertains the most to Jokic, and it's not even close. Fun fact, Nikola Jokic is not the only player in basketball. Just because someone does not talk about Jokic all day or doesn't have Jokic winning every single player debate possible doesn't make them xenophobic. And yes, while a bunch of the segments that you see on television are a bit silly, considering if you're gonna talk about the MVP, you might as well talk about Jokic as well. But that doesn't mean they're bad conversations or they're not valid conversations. It's just the fact that this conversation shouldn't be had right now. And if that was the line in the sand that most Jokic fans and people that support Jokic drew, I'd be cool this video doesn't exist. But unfortunately, that's not where the line is at all. It's much further down, and even then people have overstepped that boundary somehow. For example, if I haven't been clear, I probably haven't. Remember when Devin Booker was trending about is he a top 3 candidate? Was the fact that Devin Booker was more relevant than Nikola Jokic nasty? A little bit. And if you want to look at that and all the past moves the NBA has made to not talk about Jokic and call it xenophobia again, go ahead, fine. But either way, that doesn't then justify slander D-Book Day. Like, yes, it's annoying. Another day that nobody's talking about Nikola Jokic. But now Devin Booker's trash and overrated for it? That doesn't even make any sense. Also, fun fact, there's other players in the NBA to talk about as well. So if you're upset that it's not Jokic being talked about today, that's fine. But that doesn't mean slander the various other players that are brought up. When Ja averages fucking 40 in his last 5, people gonna talk about Ja. When Luka plays arguably the best month of basketball this year, people gonna talk about Luka. When D-Book's team has damn near 10 wins over the entire league, people gonna talk about D-Book. And talking down on all these players because their name's not Nikola Jokic, that itself is insanity. I can't express enough how much I do want Jokic to be talked about more, but just because someone isn't talking about Jokic doesn't instantly make someone xenophobic. Bro, we are talking about the NBA. Unless your name's Donovan Mitchell, new shit happens every day. But let's say I worded it poorly or you can't buy anything I just said. And at the end of the day, you're like, well, they're not talking about Jokic, so I'm gonna say what I gotta say. Again, that's not okay, but whatever. But as I told you guys earlier in this video, that's not where this shit stops, bro. Let me just make sure my mic's right. Okay. Jokic isn't God, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, holy shit, this is the reason why this video exists. So it was one thing to call everybody xenophobic, right? But that same sentiment applies with Giannis, Joel Embiid, and Luka to a lesser degree. But yo, with Jokic specifically, you can't compare nobody to him without being xenophobic or wait, get this, racist. It's like anybody who believes Jokic is an elite defender, MVP, best player in the world, whatever. They just walk around with a fucking trap card that states, if thou does not praise Nikola Jokic, bro racist as fuck. Let you even think Giannis or Joel Embiid deserve the award. You're only saying that because he's black. Like, nah, man, Giannis and Embiid are really good at basketball, bro. They're in the same tier as Jokic as both a player and a candidate, and it's not because of his skin complexion, trust. And it doesn't just start and stop with MVP conversations. Nowadays, they'll kill you for not even agreeing on every single aspect of his game. Let's talk about Jokic's defense, for example, where he's improved tremendously. I'm not even doing the James Harden, Steph Curry improved thing. Nah, at this point, Jokic a pretty damn good defender. Definitely still has a couple of weaknesses, but he's far from being the layup line that he once was. But let you not think that he's elite or like one of the best defensive bigs of all time. Just saying, if he was black, like y'all be wildin', bro. Racism and xenophobia are two wild words to just throw on somebody else for disagreeing with you. And maybe you think you're a know-it-all. And stats are everything, and Jokic has the stats argument, therefore Jokic wins the debate. You know what? I'm even give you that insanity, right? No context whatsoever. Whatever, cool. You know they out here cooking you for different opinions on Jokic, like literal opinions. Like if you mention a guy like Devin Booker or John Morant being potentially more exciting to you than Nikola Jokic, someone else is going to come to you and tell you how you should feel, and that you're either a casual, xenophobic, or racist if you feel otherwise. Like, this is the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. But all jokes aside, it's kind of sad that this is what it's come to, because despite me literally describing him as a shadow to background characters who shouldn't be background characters, he simultaneously become one of the more toxic players to talk about. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of media members, the same media members you say you don't watch but you watch anyway, that you're begging to talk about Jokic, feel the exact same way. And no, I'm not siding with the media for not talking about Jokic, nor implying that they shouldn't talk about Jokic. Again, I agree with you guys 100%. He should be talked about more. But you gotta keep it fair and keep it real, bro. If they were to talk about Jokic tomorrow, you might as well hold him at gunpoint, because if they don't say the right things, you're just gonna slander him for saying the wrong things about Jokic. Which, fair enough, they're used to slander, therefore they should talk about him anyway. I'm with you guys. But they shouldn't have to feel that way regardless. When a player is underappreciated in terms of media, we're supposed to be ecstatic when someone else brings him up. So we're like, yes, finally, we're talking about this amazing player, this amazing talent in our league. But instead, people gotta step on eggshells trying to not say the wrong thing, and by the wrong thing, they're talking about your take, bro. If they don't say verbatim of what you'd say, even thinking Jokic just a bit worse than you do, no longer are you just a casual like most other players. Nah, man, Dragon Ball Xenoverse or racism. Y'all gotta cut that shit out, bro. And no, I'm not biased because something happened to me. As y'all know, most of my content isn't necessarily rankings or anything, so I just try my best to stay in tune with the NBA community, and this is what I've noticed when it comes to Nikola Jokic, whom, by the way, and it might be the media's fault that you haven't watched him, but if you haven't watched Nikola Jokic this season, I know his team sucks, but trust me, you're missing out. Like, fuck the big man thing. At this point, he's one of the best passers I've ever seen in my life. The man definitely deserves his praise for this season, and him not getting it can definitely be annoying. But like with the whole Will and Chris situation, man, all I'm saying is I understand where y'all coming from. I really do. But there's definitely a better way to resolve the issue. But that's gonna do it for today's video. It's been your boy TSO Sage. I genuinely hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope this doesn't come off as a Jokic hate video. But if you enjoyed the video, let alone my content, you already know what buttons to hit. So hit the damn buttons. Anyways, it's been your boy TSO Sage. I'm gonna holla at y'all later. Take care and stay blessed.